everyone, my name's Miranda, and today I am here to review episode 3 of Shadowhunters, which I don't remember what it was called, but it aired this week, and it was super, super good. I have to say, I think this was the best episode that they had so far, and I am very intrigued with the direction they're going of the show, whatever the proper grammatical way to say sentences are. I don't know, it's late, I don't know how to talk past a certain point of the day. But first off, if you haven't seen the new episode and don't want to be spoiled for what happens in the episode, even if you've read the books, thank you for stopping by, but this is where we're going to have to part ways for all you non-spoilers. I'll see you next time, bye! So this episode was taking place basically immediately after the events of episode 2, which I had actually watched like when episode 1 aired. I watched episode 2 after, like directly after on demand, so I've had a little longer to wait for episode 3, but that wait was definitely worth it because, like I said, this episode was very, very entertaining, and I definitely think it was the strongest episode thus far. It took place right after episode 2 with Simon being kidnapped by the vampires, and like me and Jess, if you saw our first video for the first 2 episodes, said, apparently now it is against the accords to kidnap Mundane, which we all thought it was, but it wasn't apparently, and now it is, because Alex, like, they did kidnap a Mundane. They did break the accords, and I was like, what, you said they didn't in the last episode, and now they did? Is that, what? Is that because they brought him back to their territory or something like that? Larry kind of convinced them, and by them I mean Jace, and Jace convinced the rest of them, to go and rescue Simon. And this rescue, I feel like, I don't know, it was a bit more like the rescue in the book in some aspects than the movie was, but it's also a bit different because Simon was not kidnapped at a party like he was in the movie, but they still had the scene that I really like in the book that they cut out from the movie when they went looking for their weapons in it was a graveyard. It was a church in the book, but they made it a graveyard for this one. You have the tension between Clary and Jace, which is very, very interesting. I like how they're building that relationship. I really like Dom Sherwood. I think he's doing a great job with Jace. It's still just not my portrayal of Jace, like what I pictured. I think he's just not as like sassy and cocky and like on it all the time. Like, yes, he has his moments, but in the book I felt more like that was his personality, like 24/7, whereas this one he seems definitely more open than I feel like he was in the book, especially with Clary. But his moments with Clary are so, so adorable. I am definitely shipping them, even if I haven't already. The only thing that was weird was how Alec like doesn't like her at all. And they got in like that little mini tiff where they were like yelling at each other and like the height difference, and I realized, I was like, if I had never read the books, I would probably be shipping Alex and Clary, because I usually ship like those like hate at first sight relationships, and I was like, I feel so bad if someone is at home right now being like, okay, Clary and Jace are cute, but Alec and Clary are like my OTP, because I just want to warn them, like, I get it, I saw the chemistry those two had on screen in that scene, but you need to know that it's not ever going to happen. So if you're shipping Alec and Clary, I am so sorry for you, but I understand where you're coming from. Clary and Jace, like I said, were very, very cute in this episode, and I like how they're kind of setting up that will they, won't they kind of thing, where you can see that they're both starting to kind of trust each other and lean on each other more. I think Clary's definitely becoming more independent, which what I really liked in this episode was how she fought on her own. She took care of that vampire guy, and I like how you're kind of seeing like where they were in the books when they were a couple, how they're just like this badass couple that defeats all these monsters. This scene where Jace had her go flirt with the vampire so he could go and be like, what are you doing talking to my girl? Like, that just seemed like something that could definitely happen in the books later on, like when they're a couple. It just seems like something they would do all the time just to mess with people and get what they want, and I really, really like that scene. I thought it was like a good indication of what Clary and Jace could be like as a couple. I also really liked how we're starting to see the different aspects of Alec. Izzy is kind of teasing him about how he's not being honest with himself and he's not being true, and they're not really like alluding, like we know because we read the book what it means, but they're not really alluding to the fact that he likes Jace. And it's weird because, again, if you saw something between Alec and Clary, like you could be taking this as he likes Clary and he doesn't want to admit it because he doesn't want to hurt Jace, but no, he likes Jace. So I like the whole tension setting up there. And then I also like, I don't remember if they had it in the book because it's been a while, but I don't think they did, how Hodge is already kind of trying to drive this wedge between Jace and Alec and Izzy, I would guess, by correlation, how he was trying to say, like, don't be like me and Valentine and just live in someone else's shadow. Like, you want to learn from your mistakes. And I don't know if, like, Hodge genuinely means that, but just like the way it made it seem, because like Jace is clearly like a good guy, like he's never giving you any indication otherwise. Like the way it made it seem, it's like Hodge is already a traitor and he's already working for Valentine on the inside, just like trying to drive a wedge, like I said, between Alec and Jace. And it was definitely working in the latter part of the episode because we saw him kind of snap at Jace and tell him that he was the older one and he didn't have to live in his shadow anymore. At the same time, I think he's going to start warming up to Clary soon. From the promos that I've seen, it looks like they start hanging out more and stuff like that. So I think this is a turning point for Alex's character, and it's also a turning point for Jace kind of realizing that, yeah, maybe he's more interested in Clary than he should be for reasons other than just trying to protect people and trying to figure out what her whole deal is. But I just really liked it. I think Clary, her character is definitely becoming more badass and more awesome, and I like seeing this whole journey. I don't think we got to see it quite as well and played out in the movie because it was just like all of a sudden she was like, yeah, let's go fight. And it kind of ended after that, whereas in the TV show, we're going to see her, like, learn to fight and learn to become more strong and more badass, and I love it. And I think Kat McNamara, her acting is definitely improving. I think she's carrying her lines a lot better, and she's making them feel more realistic. And I think I was kind of worried because she's such, like, a tiny, small little girl that, like, she wouldn't be able to portray, like, this kind of badass fighting attitude as well, but she definitely blew me away with that vampire scene. I mean, it was kind of stupid that, like, she just, like, kicked him in the balls and then was like, oh, Jace. I was like, you have your sword, you need to stab him, like, you can't just walk away from the vampires. So I thought that was kind of dumb, but afterwards that scene was amazing, and I love Jace's face, how he was just like, damn girl, I did teach you well. I love how he's like trying to teach her how a sword works, and he's like, move back and forth. It's like, yes, Jace, I've never held a sword in my life, and even I know that that's how a sword works, by moving it back and forth. Like, that was so dumb. We're just trying to, like, make it more romantic than it had to be. Like, I don't like when you do forced romantic scenes, but I really liked his face, like, when she defeated the vampire and they kind of fought together. And then I also liked how, like, everyone thought she was, like, so upset when she's like, oh, I killed him, because the way I interpreted it was she was like, damn, I can do this, like, look at that, I just killed this vampire, whereas everyone else is like, don't worry, it's not really human. But she didn't, like, seem that upset that she killed a vampire. She seemed like, yeah, you took my best friend, I'm gonna get you. And then I also really liked her relationship with Simon and how she had that whole thing at the end that was like, you're my best friend, I couldn't lose you, because I felt like it felt really sincere. And again, I think Kat did a great job portraying that, because she, in the previous 2 episodes, I felt like had problems with, like, sincerity when she would be like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, it wouldn't sound right. But this scene, it really felt like she was so, like, clinging on to Simon, like he's the last part of her life that she really needs, and if she lost him, she would lose everything. So I really like that. I hate the love triangle, of course, though, how they keep trying to set it up. They have, like, these awkwardly forced shots where, like, Simon is somewhere, Jace is somewhere else, and then Clary like, in the middle. Like, they did that in the first episode, and they did it again in this episode, and it's just so, I'm not here for the love triangle at all, but it was in the books, so we're just gonna have to grin and bear it for now. And I also really like, the setup, the, like, alluding to Simon being a vampire more than in the movie, because in the movie it was just kind of like all of a sudden he was like, ew, look at that, I don't need my glasses anymore. That's a weird thing that happens normally. As in the TV show, it's a lot more subtler, because, like, he was just, like, focusing on her vein and, like, how it was throbbing, and it was so cool, and I'm so excited to see how that whole thing is going to play out more than it did, because we never saw him actually turn into a vampire in the movie. We just saw, like, the inklings of him becoming a vampire. So I am really excited. I think this was a great episode. It really has my hopes set high for the rest of the season. That's about going to do it for this review, but if you have watched episode 3 of Shadowhunters, please feel free to leave your thoughts in the description box down below, what you liked, what you didn't like, if you like the changes they made to the book. I don't remember them that well because I read the book so long ago, but still, I think they're being a little more similar than the movies, if I remember correctly. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and also subscribe to my channel down below to be told to make all sorts of new videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!